Okay, Ava. Uh, you want me to answer your questions in this book. I'm not good at this, but I will try. I'll try to answer. My goats and everything's running around here. The first you say, what happened when Grandpa went into the hospital? Well, why don't I start from before that, because I see you have other questions here. All the trouble started when my brother-in-law, Charles Buren, got killed. He was my husband's brother. My husband's brother was married to my sister. And, no, the goat's messing around. Was married to my sister. She left him. And then she told everybody that her and him were going right back together and all that. I don't know if they were or not. All I know is there was trouble for a long time. Anything my sister wanted, she'd go after. Well, anyway, when he got killed, I put my arm around her husband's sister, my husband's sister. And she got mad about that. And she said I'd have trouble from then on because I went to Mary instead of her. I went to our sister-in-law to try to keep her quiet because she was really telling my sister just lost her husband off. So I figured, well, I'd just quiet her down. Well, it caused trouble. Then, shortly afterwards, she wanted half of the property that my husband paid for, and only one share of her husband's was put into it, which my husband gave him back because he had no money saved because he was drinking. And he bought his funeral clothes for his mother's funeral and everything. We loved Charlie. And anyway, from then on, it was downhill. I started getting harassed. She would bring people in to harass me 24/7. It was over 20 years I went through this already. And it was getting worse and worse. She brought kids out to stone us from from miles away, like 20 or 25 miles or more away. She brought them out to stone us. They were black children. She used black so it would make me look racist. Well, anyway, one day, my daughter had my 3 boys up to this storage trailer. And a man, I would say anywhere from 39 up, he went after my daughter and said he was going to rape her. She did hit him. I was in a hospital because the day before, my neighbor's kids and those kids from the inner city beat me so bad that I miscarried. I miscarried. I was in a hospital the day the day my daughter hit the guy, but I got accused of hitting him. I just drove my husband to work after I was told my baby was dead. I came home and was driving into the storage trailer driveway when this man and 2 black kids were harassing my daughter and threatening to beat her and everything. She hit the big one. They went home. They went across the road to where the neighbors lived. And the pigs are messing this up. And so, anyway, they went across the road, and we seen the neighbor woman beat the little kid, a little 12-year-old, and then he went down to the police barracks with him and said that I hit him, which I did not do. Every day when I was being harassed, I would call the state police. I would say, please don't put it over the scanner, because my sister's got a scanner and she leaves every time she hears it come over the scanner, so you won't be able to catch her. They said, that's our policy and we will do it. So they did, and every time she was gone when they got her, and it made me look like a liar, no matter how many witnesses I had. And then she went around to the neighbors, Ava. She went around to the neighbors. This was way before your time, honey. And she told them that your grandpa and I were molesting the children. They went to the school and told it. I had them in a private school. Child Services was called. It was proven untrue. But once your name is dirty like that, how are you going to get it back? The neighbors believed him. The neighbors start harassing me along with my sister and the neighbor children and the neighbor woman. I don't blame the neighbor children. I don't blame the two little black boys. I don't blame the other children that would stay with those girls' dad and them. I did not blame them. They were poor. They got all kinds of stuff after my sister got her settlement from the highway department of millions of dollars. And she used that to harass me. She bought things to put on my truck so she could tell where I was at all times. She could follow me, trace me with it. I would come home from, first I'd start out to go get my husband from work because he was afraid to take his car because he was afraid it would be damaged like it was a few times in the parking lot. So I would go after him. All of a sudden there would be somebody right behind me. I would pull over, and it was my sister and her buddies. All of them was harassing me, including my nephews and nieces. They were going by and shouting things at me when I pulled over, and trying to make a fool out of me. And anyway, they went and said I hit that boy. That I was arrested. And the first time that I was ever had charges that stuck, because the other ones, they didn't stick because they knew they were lies. She said that I threatened her at Value King grocery store in Girard, PA, when I went to get my husband a cake for his birthday. All of a sudden, quite a few police cars pulled up. They came and took me to mental health. Mental health said there was nothing wrong with me, and my sister should be brought in because they'd like to check her. The officer that took us, he stopped at Dairy Queen and got us ice cream, my daughter and I, because my daughter went with me. He was a very nice officer. He became a mayor of Lake City afterwards, Lake City, PA, Erie County. Anyway, Theodorsky, I think was his name. He was very nice to me, and he was very nice to my daughter. Anyway, my nephew rented the land. He said he was going to have a church meeting. I found out it wasn't a church meeting, but it was too late to get out of the contract, or I would have lost everything I had that my husband and I worked so hard for. But anyway, I wasn't supposed to be judged on that, they said. They said that on account of me not signing a paper saying I was guilty, that I would get 2 to 17.5 years, Michael. T. Joyce was a judge. Brad Folk was from the district attorney's office, and I went to him several times with proof, videotapes and everything showing him what was going on. He wanted me to have my sister arrested. She's my sister. I couldn't have her arrested. So he told the Igleys to put charges against me, and he'd make sure they stuck. When I went to the courthouse, before that, it was time for us to go into court, and I wanted to represent myself, and they wouldn't let me. They made me take Mike Palmisano, which became a judge right after he didn't represent me like he was supposed to. Isn't it funny, he became a judge. Anyway, Brad Folk became district attorney. Michael T. Joyce gave me 17.5 years. I spent 2 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 6.5 hours or more in prison for something I didn't do. And they would come to me when I was in Muncie. They put me on death row before they moved me to Cambridge Springs. And a guard would come up and say, you want to sign this paper that you did the crime? And then you won't get lethal injection. I found out afterward. I said, no, I'm not signing a lie. I found out afterwards that what they were doing is putting me on death row like they did everybody else to move me to Cambridge Springs. But they didn't tell me that. I was throwing up all night that night. I was so scared. But I prayed and prayed, and I said, no, Lord, they can't do this to me. So anyway, I spent all that time in there. And while my mother was dying, my neighbor, the one that's the father to those children, he wrote a letter to Superintendent Wolf at the prison. I have it. I will read it later because I don't know exactly where I put it. But he told them he wanted me to go home. He had written a letter before that asking if I could be released so I could be by my dying mother's side. I had to pay for a constable to take me. Murderers were allowed on furloughs without no constable. 3 or 4 days at a time. I wasn't allowed. I never hurt nobody, but if I had slapped him, which I didn't, he was on my property after my daughter they were, but I never hit nobody. And when my daughter told Child Services, the head of it, his name was Tulik at the time. I guess he's dead now. Anyway, I hope he's not in hell. But he was trying to tell my daughter to say that I forced her to take the blame. My daughter said, no, my mother did not. And he said, well, you'll go to reform school. And then Michael T. Joyce, the judge, told me, if my daughter or anybody else testified different than the other side did, they would all go to jail. Threatening my witnesses, threatening me. Okay, I wouldn't let him testify. I couldn't take a risk of me and my husband both being in jail. He would have had to say different than those children did because they were lying. We believe in God. My husband believed in God up until the day he died. He was praying, and he had a smile on his face when he was dying, and lifted his hand up to let us know he was seeing the Lord that day. Anyway, when I went home, here's the part you wanted me to tell. When I went home, before my husband's death, he got really sick and we had to rush him to the hospital, so we loaded him in the car. I forgot about the safe. My teeth and my money our money was in the safe. Over $200,000 that my husband and I saved, or all of our life savings, because he was having somebody come over to fix the house, jack it up and put a basement under it. Well, when I came home, the safe was gone, my teeth, the money, and then I looked around when I couldn't get no water. Here somebody took all the copper tubing out of the house, all the electrical wire that was copper, took my hot water tank, my furnace. They took the post that held the house up and that was holding the addition on, up. Because they were metal, they took those. They took the one from the corner of the house and the porch. Now my house on one corner and the addition has tipped 18 inches. Everything's breaking in it. I don't have the money to fix it. So Ava, that's why I can't let you guys come spend the night with me. I don't even want anybody into my house because I'm so afraid it will be condemned on account of somebody doing that to me. You want a grandma face now, Ava? Here, I'll give you a grandma face now. I feel ugly. I feel like everybody's telling me I'm homely. I believe it because of everything I went through. I lost my teeth due to sickness. I lost a lot of weight. I'm only 76 pounds. I'm 4'11.5" tall. I love my grandchildren. I don't want you asked me in this book, what is one thing I want to see change before I die? I want to see my sister saved even more in my house. I can't see her and the neighbors going to hell. I don't want that. As much as they've done to me, I don't want them in hell. Hell's forever. I'm raising potbelly pigs. She wanted me to tell you about that. I raise them for the handicapped. And as you seen my goats earlier, if I could, I'd catch you a little potbelly pig to show you what they're like. They're so sweet. My husband started training them. I have to quit because I'm losing my place because I owe way over $7,000 worth of taxes. I don't have enough money to put the fence up. Ava, you can thank those people that lied about me and had me put in prison. You can thank them. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything for them to do this to me. I minded my own business. I was raising my children. All of a sudden at night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, my sister would have somebody coming to harass me. They would play radios all the way past. In 1990 or 91, they burned our barn. It was a real nice day. There was no electric going to the barn. And I seen somebody coming towards the barn because I slept in my car all night long because I was afraid to go in the house. My husband had to sleep so he could go to work the next day. So I watched because we had threats that they were going to burn us up and my children would be in the house, and they would go by with firemen's uniforms on and say, I see the Beer children burn Chris in a house fire or barn fire. And you firemen can go home now. Now what was that telling you? They were using little kids to do this. They were teaching little children how to harass me. I just don't know, what more to say. There's the piggies. I don't know if you can see. That's the piggies, though. I'm going to try to get a close-up of them. Closer because they're scared right now because they never seen the camera before. But I love my little piggies. I have to take this. Be with me a minute, Ava. I got to take this off the tripod so I can get a picture of the pigs and stuff. Yeah, there's my goats, a nanny, well, a doe, and there's my buck with the horns. Here's some of the potbelly pigs. See my little potbelly pigs over there? That's the little ones. I have a lot of them, but I'm not going to for long. I was a giver. I gave and gave and gave. But when I need help, there's nobody. Hello. Hello, Blossom. Going to say hello to Mama? Ava, you might think I'm crazy. Look at this. He wants the tripod now, that goat does. Look, I have barrels in here for them to exercise on. And I just love my animals so much. I just love them. And love my grandchildren too. Now watch what she does. She's trying to get that tripod. She'll suck on it. They're miniatures. And I have 5. Look, it wants to eat my tripod up. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? I planted him a garden. Here's one of the mamas. Got a big belly, almost hanging to the ground. But she nurses her babies. There's another one. That's a mama. Here comes all the little fellas. They broke my fence down, the piggies did. I had it divided up. That's where I keep my hay. I'll be moving it in here pretty soon. But Ava, don't you ever, ever, ever learn to hate. That is horrible. And don't you ever, ever, ever bully anybody in school, because Grandma will find out about it. And I don't like that, and God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. They can say what they want. God don't like ugly. Hey, Blossom. Blossom. Oh, it wants to wash itself up. Well, Ava, I gotta turn this off for a little bit. I told you I'd do what I could, and I did. The goats the piggies and their mamas are right there. They want to hide. Aren't they sweet? When I pick them up, they squeal, but they're not ready to train just yet.